Alright, welcome to another video from the Complete Website Builder tutorial, and we are using Mobirise to help you create a really beautiful website for your small business or for your small organization. It's come to my attention recently by one of the people who have viewed the videos on our website. So the website is websitetutorial.highwaywebconsulting.com, and he said that he's tried to implement the Bootstrap Cards code snippet. Maybe I can show you that. Let's see. Go to websitetutorial.highwaywebconsulting.com. You can see that this is the main external page for all of the introducing the Mobirise elements, and you can watch the videos directly from here if you've been watching them on YouTube. And then if we go to the Resources tab, and we scroll down to the code snippets, this is the one that we're talking about here. So you can see that there's an icon inside of a circle, and then it has the card title and a little bit of a button to take some sort of action. And when you download this free snippet and you put it into your web page, maybe even into an HTML block if you have the Mobirise code editor, then what happens is the icon does not show up. Now the reason for this is that this is using Bootstrap 3, which is what Mobirise used to use, but Mobirise is actually updated to the new version of Bootstrap, which is Bootstrap 4. And if we go to the version 4 of Get Bootstrap, and we click on the documentation, if you go down to migration, they talk about some of the issues with upgrading from version 3 to version 4, and they talk about some of the bigger changes that they've made throughout here. So for some people, some of these changes are going to be noticeable. For us, though, this one is going to be the most noticeable change here. So this is why the Glyphicons are not showing up in the Bootstrap Cards code. So they dropped. This used to be added into Bootstrap, so when you connected Bootstrap to your website, you could just use the Glyphicons as is. You didn't have to do anything else. It was built into Bootstrap itself. But they have since dropped the Glyphicons for version 4, and because they don't support them anymore automatically, then you have to do something. So if you really want to use the Glyphicons, you can click on this link here and it will take you over. I'm not so enamored with them that I have to use them, but if you would like to use them, there is a free version, but just know that this is only the PNG, so you're only getting an image file. So if you're looking on a Retina screen, or you're looking at a very high resolution monitor, it might not look very good because it's not scaling very well. And the way that they scale really well is if they're an SVG, in an SVG format, or if they're a ×2 or ×3 format. So to get the really nice looking, clean, crisp ones, you'd have to pay the $59 plus the VAT, but which you can do, and that gives you access to all of them, and you can use them on your website however you want. So the free version only includes these Glyphicons that you see on the front page, which is mostly what you would use anyway. So the halflings are small, they're smaller versions. There's social medium ones, and then there's different ones for different file types. So so you can use those. That is an option. I'm not going to show you how to do that because there are other options built into Mobirise already, that all we have to do is we have to hook into those options already. So let me show you. When you open Mobirise and you go to, let's say here, and we want to insert an icon. Now there's all of these icons, right? So we have different sets of icons to be able to use inside of Mobirise. Now here they're showing the Socicon and elegant font pack. which is a line icon set. These are already built into Mobirise, and you do not have to do anything except for tap into each of these. So in the code, you just need to be able to tap into this envelope, and I will show you how to do that. And from what I can see, Mobirise uses, let's see if I can find it. From what I can see, Mobirise uses 2 different icon sets there, but I believe they also use the Google Material icon set. I'll have to check that out, and we'll find out together. But what we can do, and then you could use these as well. Maybe I'll show you how to use Font Awesome, because I use that for professional website projects all the time, because I can use what's called a CDN, which is just an external link. I don't have to actually download all the images and then put them into my website structure. I can just insert a link, and then it pulls them from an external source into my website, which is it's another call that the website has to make outside of itself to bring things in. But I think for what you get and being able to use it a lot and anywhere I want to, you know, if your website has a lot of icons, you just have to decide whether that speed trade-off is okay for you. And for me, it has been up to this point, so it's been a really good font for me to use. And then Octacons is the GitHub. GitHub has a set of icons called Octacons. So I'm going to show you how to do the Socicons, the Google Design material icons, and also elegant themes, the line icons. I'll show you how to insert those into your website. So I've created this fake website, just a basic little nothing. I published it here, so you can see it's a fully functioning website. And then I exported the files here, so you can see those. So this is the project and the index, and then it has all of these asset files in here. And what I've done is I've opened it up in my code editor. So this is that same website, just on the code side. So this is the index page, and I can see here that certain things have been added. This is why I think that you can use the Bootstrap code, because this is a CSS for something that gives the website a material design look, like for buttons and things like that. This is the line font, so the elegant themes line font. This is the Socicon web font. And then these are like custom styles that they've done as well. So here, here, and here, these are why I think that you can tap into these things, because they've already included them into the Mobirise page. So we're going to test this out, and we're going to see if that's going to be possible. So let's go back and we'll download our free snippet, the Bootstrap Cards. And let's unzip it. So this, by the way, is how you use this Bootstrap Cards snippet. I showed this in a different video. So if we open our code, you can see this is our CSS here, and because we're tapping into the Glyphicon, right? That's not going to work either. So let's go ahead and cut this code, and we'll bring it into our code base here. So we need to open the assets, and we need to go to, where is it? Need to find our CSS. We can add it here to the MBR additional, and we can just scroll down to the bottom. It's okay. Remember, whatever's at the bottom is going to get, that's the newest and freshest part. So we're just going to copy and paste that in. So now we have all of our card styles. Now card, I believe, is not changed, so this the only thing that's going to be different is this one right here. We're going to have to make some changes to the actual icon itself. We'll probably just have to call a different class here. So I'm going to save that, and I need to go back and get the HTML. So I need to open this. I'm just going to open that with Atom as well. Atom is the code editor that I use. So if I Control A, then that selects all of it, and then if I copy, I'm just going to bring that straight into my index page. I'm going to create a new section, and I'll do it right here so that it's prominent and we can see it. So I just Control V, copied that in. Now this is the part here where it says Glyphicon. This is the part that we're going to change. So you can see in here we have our card, and then we have our icon, and then we have what is called the card block that has a card title, and it has text, and then it has a button. And then this is, this is the fullness of card 1 right here. And then it's in a column with small 4, so on a small screen it's going to only take up 1/3 of the page, because 12 divided by 4 is 1/3, right? So, and then there's a second card and then a third card, and they just kind of go across the page. But each time, this is what we're going to focus on here. So we've added our code in, and now we need to take a look at what our options are for bringing in icons from these other places. So let's take a look. Let's save that. I'm going to get this out of here because I don't need it right now. And don't need that file. Don't need this. Let's go first to the material design icons, because I've worked with these before also on professional projects, and they're very extensive, so there's a lot of these material icons, and they're a little different on the website about how to use them, so I'll just show you. So if you go to design.google.com/icons, then you'll find the full list of the icons here. Now you can search in here. I'm looking for stats, which they don't have. Graph. No. And they use some different naming conventions compared to other people, so I'm just going to choose something. This one seems fine. Build. Now you see this comes up here at the bottom. Now I can download it as an SVG, I can download it as a PNG, or I can download it as an icon font, which is what we're going to do because we're going to add it directly into the web page. I can choose whether it'll be black, or I can choose whether it'll be white, and it shows you here what it'll look like. And now I can also choose the size. So I can choose 48, essentially 48 pixels, or 18 pixels. I'm going to choose 36. Seems fine. And when I click on icon font, then it tells me what to do. So follow the instructions to embed the icon font in your site, and then learn how to style them. So you would follow this link. I already have it set up, I believe, so I'm just going to use it directly in the website. So I don't really care much about IE9, so I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go back over to my code, and we're going to paste it in. We're going to see if this works. I have not tried this yet, so let's paste that in. And we'll save it, and then we'll take a look. Okay. It does show up. It's kind of showing up in a funky way, so maybe that one's not going to work very well. When I went to the website, the reason I thought it will work is because when I went to the website for this code here, it said that it includes all of the Google fonts. So maybe that's just that's out and not able to be done. I'm not sure. Maybe when we go back in and do the styling for these, then it'll change. So let's try out the Socicons. This is at socicon.com. And the Socicons are branding. They're for branding, so you can see there's all the different types of companies out there. And let's just use Twitter. And so how to use it. Create a new CSS. How are they adding it in? Okay, says I can generate some icons here. And it's creating some, oh, it's just giving me fonts. So I can create, not fonts, but images. So I can create a custom image. So this is a full-on font here. So let's think for a minute how to use this. I suppose the easy way would be like this. Alright, let's go. Let's see an implementation of this. So let's choose Twitter. We'll insert the icon. Let's publish this. It should override everything. Okay, so now we have this here. And we can actually inspect it and we can see how they have brought this in. So they added, there's a link and then they added this text, this class right here. So it seems like that's all we have to do is just add a class. So let me get back to our website. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to add a, where's our part that we added in. Where'd it go? Well, did I lose it? Alright, I'm just opening up my Bootstrap Cards template. I thought I copied this, pasted it in, but I guess not. Okay. Let's put it here. Save that. And then what we need to do is we need to create a new, so right here where it says span class, we just need to insert those things that, we have to insert what we saw before. So what we saw before was this, so they added the class Socicon, Socicon-Twitter. Okay, and then all we have to do when we come in and we see our Glyphicons, we just need to change the Glyphicon here to Socicon Twitter. That should work. Let's see how that looks in the browser. This is the one. Alright, so it shows up. So you can see that we've tapped into that. Now it looks terrible because it hasn't been styled. So we have to add the CSS class to the styles that we previously had. But it does show up. Now it shows up because it's already tapping into the Socicons. Now apparently it's not working for the material design ones, which is okay because we have these other two fonts to fall back on. And there's also the ability to use other fonts, and I'll show you how to use Font Awesome as well. So there's that one. So let's go ahead and style that very quickly. So we have Socicon Twitter, and I think if we just go back to our CSS, and we remember we pasted it at the bottom of this. Well, I guess nothing got saved, huh? Okay. So let's go to back to our folder. And we'll grab the CSS. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to put it down here. Paste it. And then instead of card.glyphicon, we need to write Socicon. So let's see if that catches those styles. And when we refresh, let's see if it picks up the same styles that we had before. Okay, it does. So now we have our icon. It's been styled exactly like we wanted it to before, with the padding, and then it has the circle on it. It's centered inside of there. And all we had to do, we didn't have to do a whole lot. All we had to do was change the, we just had to change the classes on the icon from Glyphicon to Socicon. And the reason that we can do that is because it's actually integrated into Mobirise at this point. So if you go to Socicon, you can see here where it says class equals Socicon-Facebook. That's the part that you need. So if I copy that, now I bring it back to my index.html where we replace this. All you have to do is replace this part. So you need to keep this one, and then if you want to change the company, then all you have to do is switch this out, save it, and then when you go back and look, it should be Facebook now. Okay, so now it's Facebook. So this is pretty cool. So you've tapped into the Socicon, and you can use any of these company names or identities using just this method. So you would just take the Socicon -chink or LinkedIn or FeedBurner or whatever it is, and you can add that straight into your code. So that's a really cool way to just add some social icons in the place of the Glyphicons. Material icons are not going to work, although maybe another video I'll show you how those get put in, because I think that's a really nice set, and it's an extensive set. It's big, so that's one of the reasons I really like the material icons. Now, the other icons that they use are from Elegant Themes. Elegant Themes makes WordPress themes, and really well done. I've used them for many years, and they're just a really top-notch place to buy a WordPress theme from. So they have released what are called these ET line icons. So Elegant Themes line icons. Now they're going to work the same way. So they have a class here that you need to add in, and let's see how we need to add them in. So this is all about including them. That part has been done for us. So telling how to use the Unicode. Okay, so they're using. Okay, here's the HTML for it. So they're calling a class of icon-laptop and then stacked. Okay, so they've created stacked here, but these are the way that they would bring them in. So it's icon dash and then whatever it is. So let's just try that, adding that in. So we'll just we'll do this one because it's pronounced. So icon dash desktop. We'll copy that, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're just going to come in where the Glyphicon was, and instead of this, we're just going to paste icon dash desktop, and we're going to see if this shows up. All right, let's save, and we'll go refresh our page, and it should show up here. Let's see. Okay, so we've tapped into that particular font family as well. So this is the icon dash desktop. So you can see here, that's the icon. Now this is unstyled really. There's nothing to it because we need to go into our CSS, and it's called icon dash desktop. So let's copy that. We'll go back to our CSS, and we can do card dash Socicon. And if you can do the same thing with multiple elements on the page if you just do a comma, and then I like to put it on a new line, and then you do .card. This is like you're creating a whole new selector. So just like this is one full package together, you can create a whole other one. You can do this with 100 different elements if you want to, where you give them all the same styles. Card dot, and then icon dash desktop. Let me see if there's a better way to call that. There might be. Okay, well it's not built in straight into it, but we could give it a style. Let's give it a separate style. So we'll call it, so just like this one, there's a general style of Socicon, and then there's the specific icon that's called Socicon-Facebook. This one only comes with just the specific icon, so we can actually call this like ET line icon, and then we can give it its own special style. And so this is kind of the larger style, and this is a more specific style for that particular one. But if we add this style, then we can put that on each of the three, and it'll style them all the same, just like we did with the Socicon here. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll add that, we'll go back here, and then we'll say ET line icon. That way, anywhere we put this, even if it's not specific to like what the image is, then it'll do all of this for all of those icons. Hope that makes sense to you. But that's the way classes work, and it's the way classes work in CSS, so that you can give one name to many different elements and style them all at the same time. So it's really the power of CSS. So you want to find ways that you can do that in your cascading style sheets. So let's go back here, and it should be styled exactly like this, and it is. So you can see it's taken on the same styles as this because I added them both together. So I have the Socicons styled this way, and I have the ET line icon styled this way, and they're both taking on these styles. So all you do is add a comma, drop down to another line, and then create a whole new set. So just like you do card P, you could do all that here as well. So that is really good. So those are the two fonts that I know come included, and I know that because whenever I go here to choose a font, I can see that those two things are included, right? So this is the same one, desktop, that we just added, only we added it through Mobirise, right? But if you go into the code editor, or if you have to like hack in and you don't have the code editor for Mobirise and you're just using a text editor like this, then you can actually just put it straight into the CSS and into the HTML. So in the HTML, you're going to need to go in the HTML, you need to go to where the Glyphicon used to be, which is right here, and you need to set the classes differently. Now the last one I'm going to show you is more like the Glyphicons, so we're going to actually have to change this entire HTML structure, but you get a really great font out of it. So Bootstrap even says, maybe you want to use Font Awesome. So Font Awesome is pretty awesome, and what it is, it's an icon font, and so it's just like when we were using Glyphicons. So they scale really nicely, and they have a really full set of icons. So if you just click on icons, you can see them all. So all of these are very common, and they're separated out into different types of different types of icons. And they have directional ones, and they have video, and they have all the branding. So all the things that we just did with the Socicon, this gets included with the Font Awesome. So Font Awesome is really just it's a full icon set that you can use for whatever. And the license is free. You can use it on any project. So it's really great. And it used to be integrated into Bootstrap, so it plays really well with Bootstrap already. So when you click on the Getting Started, the best way is to use a CDN, which we talked about before, which is just it's a way to link, just like you link to an external style sheet in your CSS. You're linking to an external style sheet and bringing that into your web page. So they don't just give it to you. You could also download the full set of CSS if you're using a specific kind of package or something. But this is the easiest way by far. So okay, so they sent me the code, and I'm not exactly sure why they do it this way, but it's just the way that they do it. So let's go to the email and get the code. Alright, and has it shown up? Oh. Okay. I wasn't expecting to do the Font Awesome, so I didn't really set everything up for that. Alright, Font Awesome, here we go. Okay, so I have my new embed code, and here it is. So all I have to do is grab this, copy it, and it gives you some instructions here on how to use it. So you just copy the code into your HTML and then add the fonts. So instead of adding it in the head, I'm actually going to add it in the body. Usually we add scripts, JavaScript scripts down at the bottom. Generally best practice. So now it's going to call this, it's going to pull the fonts from this JavaScript file. So that's going to be added into our index page. Now this is going to have to be on every single page that you want to use the fonts. I would encourage you, if you don't use the fonts on a page, to not do this, because it's going to, every time you load the page, it's going to call that in. So it's just going to be kind of a performance hit. It's a trade-off that you have to do. If you don't like that, then you can download the full CSS and the fonts, and you can actually add them to your structure here, just like they have with these fonts here. But this is the quick and easy way to do it, especially if you're only going to use one or two or not very many of the fonts. There's a better way if you're only going to use a couple, to just add them in, but that's a little bit more advanced, and I don't really want to get into that. I'm trying to help people who don't have a lot of time to get stuff going on their website that's nice and maybe a little bit above average. So we're going to add this script tag. I've saved it, and then now we have to go back to our fonts, which are oh, it's over here. And let's go back to the icons, and then we're just going to choose a couple of icons. Let's do a bell. So you can see that it, as it gets larger, it doesn't get blurry around the edges. That's because it's an icon font. So it should get better as it goes. It should stay crisp as it goes up or down in size. So we're just going to copy this. This is the FA-bell. That's the classes that we use for it, and they use an I tag. I tags are only used really for icons, so there's not much chance of there being a conflict there. So let's go back up to our last section, the third section here, and we're just going to take this and we're going to remove it, and then in its place we're going to put this FA-bell I tag. Now whenever we save and we go to preview our website, it should show up. So let's look over here. And okay. There it is. Okay, it just took a minute for it to load in. So you can see that our bell shows up. Now it's also not styled because we need to add it, right, to our style for our icons. So the way that we do this one is we're just going to call this one .card.fa. So I don't want to give it, just like there's a kind of a master class here. FA is the master class for Font Awesome, right? Just like ET line icon is kind of a master class that we can add to each one. And then you have the very specific FA bell. So FA bell is only gonna it's only gonna show the bell, and it's only gonna style the bell, as opposed to like if you had a bell and then you had something different here and you had something different here, and you went to do the styles, you had to style each of them separately, or you would have to include something in our CSS that looked more like this. Now this is kind of quick and dirty, but this is because I'm using 3 different types of icons to show you right now. But if I just decided to use Font Awesome, I would just take these 2 away, and then it would style all of the elements that have the FA, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and add that in, and we'll save it. And now it should take on that style, just like the others. Okay, so now it takes on that style with the circle and the padding and the margin here. So we've added in 3 different kinds of icons. This is from the Socicons. These are line icons from Elegant Themes, and these are font awesome icons. So it's your choice as to which one you might want to use in your Mobirise website. These 2 are natively supported, so that means that the support is already there. You just have to change the class names on where we have Glyphicon, or where we did before in the HTML. All you have to do is change these class names here, right? And for the Socicons, the same thing. Socicon, and then Socicon Facebook. And then all you have to do is change the CSS to be whatever these classes are. So I hope that makes sense to you as to how to do it, why it's happening, if you've used Bootstrap, the card snippet, why that's happening. And I think I'm probably just going to go back and change the code snippet to include these 2 things, and a link to this video so that people will be able to see why and how those changes are made. So if you have any questions, which maybe you will after watching this, I'm not sure, but if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will try to get to them as quickly as I can. Just on a personal note, I've gotten a full-time job over the last maybe 3 months ago, so my time I might not be quite as quick to get back to your comments and your questions as I was in the past when I was doing freelance work from home, but I do see them, and as long as it's not something I have to delve way into, I can get to it pretty quickly. But if it's a more extensive question, I want you to ask it. Just know that it's going to take a little bit more time for me to get to it. And the videos are coming a little bit more slowly as well. I felt like this one was a question that really needed a video, because this is a major change in Bootstrap, and it's meant a major change to Mobirise as well, because Mobirise is based on Bootstrap. So that's how you can add fonts in to your website, and how you can hook into the fonts that are already included with Mobirise. Make sure that you subscribe. I love the people who are subscribing. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, I don't look at whether you're subscribed or not, but I really appreciate the subscribing, because what it does is it sends out the reach, and more people are learning how to use Mobirise, and they're learning about Mobirise because of the people who are subscribing, and they're being active on this channel, and people are finding it through the search, which is really great, because I think this is a beautiful way to build a website, and it's easy to understand for most people, and it makes the web generally a more beautiful place, which is a lot of the reason that I'm doing this. So I really appreciate all of you who have subscribed, and if you haven't, just hit the subscribe button. And you can also send me a message or follow me on Twitter. My Twitter account is @Brian, BRIAN, Haferkamp, HAFERKAMP. And again, feel free to leave a comment. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.